everyone, it's Cathy Zielske. Welcome to my blog and YouTube channel. Today I have a simple Copic coloring card that I'm sharing because I feel like when you start out with Copics they can be very overwhelming, and I am speaking from experience here because I'm pretty new to all this stuff, but I want to encourage you, like I'm encouraging myself, to start simple and start with small objects to color. I think that's the key. Today I am using a set from Mama Elephant, and I have used this for another card, but I used the big Yetis. And for this card, I am going to just focus on the little darling trees because these are small, they're manageable. You can start with little things, right? And that will help build your confidence. So I'm gonna stamp out a bunch of these little trees. And today, normally I use my MISTI tool for everything, but I'm gonna roll the dice a little. I'm gonna live on the edge and do some free range stamping, just using an acrylic block because I kind of figured, okay, how hard can it be just to stamp a little image? And you know what? It's not. I am using some Neenah Solar White cardstock today because it is a Copic friendly cardstock. And I'm using Memento Tuxedo Black ink because also works really well with Copics. Now I always stamp more than I need because I make mistakes. But I wanted to show you my chamois, my Lawn Fawn stamp chamois. Looks like absolute nether regions of hell, but it still works amazing because none of that ink comes off. It just cleans and cleans. It's like magic. I also want to show you my Copic collection. Now, I have been collecting markers for about half a year. I have a decent set, and here they are all stored inside this amazing storage unit from Organize More. But I want you to see how many I have because, well, to some of you it might seem like a lot. To some of you it might seem like, oh, right, you're just getting started. But the thing is, as fun as they are to collect, you really don't need to have tons of them to get nice effects for your stamped images. And that's kind of my point today. Got these, but I'm only going to use a handful to color my trees. Now I'm going to do a modified rainbow, so I'm going with green, blue, and purple. So I'm going on the cool side of the color wheel. And I'm going to start with my dark color at the bottom of the tree, add a little color all along the bottom. And again, I've learned this from watching other videos. I don't think I'm the world's, I'm not even close to the world's most average Copic colorer, but I'm learning, and like you might be watching now to figure it out. I watch a lot of videos and think, oh, that's how they do that. So I'm going to go ahead and take the darker color and then bring in my lighter color. Now some colors will blend really well together automatically. These two work pretty well actually, this light green and this darker green, both kind of on that neon chartreusey spectrum, which I love. But one thing that you can do if they're not blending well together is you can create a mid-tone color by tapping your lighter color to your darker color and just going in like that. And I learned that from taking a class at Online Card Classes. So this is just trial and error, but it does help you to get that look of having 3 blended colors. So I'm going to repeat the same thing with my blues, come in with that dark color, take the lighter color towards the top, and I am just leaving the treetops white, and then doing that tip, tap, touch thing to get that mid-tone in. Doing that for the blues, but now when I move on to the purples, the thing is I actually have 3 colors in purple that sort of work together. So it's just to show you the difference between I had just 2 for the upper trees and now I have the 3 for the bottom, but you really don't need to have that many markers to still get more out of them. And I even think my purple, yes, it might have a little more depth in the end, but you know what? I still did the sort of tip, tap, thing. I can't even speak. I did it again for these 2, and it does give a nice look. But again, simple coloring on images like this will build your confidence. And I'm going to add just a little in for the tree trunks. I've got a couple browns. I actually got these from my daughter. She was into Copics for a while, and when she wasn't, she gave them to me. Score. And now I'm just going to cut these out, run them through my Big Shot. I'm going to hold each one down with a little bit of the low-tack tape so it doesn't move when it's going through. And I'm going to cut all 3 out, and then you will see the magical results. Ah, they're so cute. Those cute little trees, but you definitely can see a little more on that purple. Now I'm going to be cutting up a bunch of Neenah Solar White cardstock. Now this is the 80 pound because I'm going to cut a panel using this die from Fawn. And I've used this in other card videos. It's super cute. And I'm going to take this stitched frame from Fawn. This is from the small set of these because I want to have one stitched cloud. And then I also want to have one more white panel. Look, I'm using a lot of white cardstock here, people. It's a very white cardstocky kind of project, but I am going to cut out some hills to match the panel on the left because, as you know, the hills are alive with the sound of music. Thank you. Going to get my first layered hill, and then what I'm going to do is flip that panel that's stitched and bring in my trees so then I can line up my die and see exactly where I want to cut that panel that's going to go behind. That way I've got space for my trees, and now you can see the look. They layer together. Trees are going to be in that center area, and they're going to be magical. Now I'm going to stamp sentiment now. I've learned that don't wait till the card is done. Stamp while you're still building. So I'm going to use a little grid tool here. I love this little grid tool from Simon because it helps you line things up. And I'm going to be stamping this with a VersaFine. And of course, I'm not free ranging this. I got my MISTI. Okay, I'm not crazy. So I'm going to ink this up and then go ahead and just give it a nice press down. Doesn't need to be more than once when I'm using VersaFine, the Onyx Black, because it's such a juicy ink. And that looks great. All lined up and ready to go. Now, as I am wont to do, I take the insert out of my MISTI tool and I use the tool to line up all my panels. It's just so much easier for me to push against two sides, add the glue to everything and press them all down. It's just quick and I can easily line everything up. No sweat at all. I love that. Now to add a little color to this very white cardstocky card, I've got this really pretty Gina K cardstock, and I'm going to use this for my base, and I'm also going to cut a panel, another big stitched panel, and this is 4 1/4 by 5 1/2, so this will line up perfectly on top of the folded card base. Here I'm using my Scor-BUDDY, just going to score at 5 1/2, and I am using my Teflon bone folder. This thing is fantastic. The one that comes with this is okay, but the Teflon bone folder, this thing is amazing. It just doesn't leave a mark on your paper and creates really nice folds. So now again, using that MISTI tool, I've got my dot adhesive on that back panel. I'm just gonna line it up and press it in. And again, it's a quick lineup, but one thing that I did notice when I was looking at the card, there was just a tiny bit of a lip overhang. And this happens if I don't trim my card bases just perfectly. So I line it up just to see that overhang, press down really hard, and just take an X-Acto knife and just slice it off. And that way, when I look at it, it's like, okay, there we go. That tiny little lip was there. It just, you guys, if it's gonna bug me on a video, it's gonna bug me forever. And the recipient's gonna think it's horrible. You know what I mean? Yeah. So I'm gonna go ahead and glue this down now. Now here's the funny thing. I put this panel down and then I realized, oh shoot, wait, I actually wanted to pop up the love and happiness panel because it was very critical to the overall design. When you're making a really simple card, any extra little thing is really going to add to it. So I decided to lift it up and take it off, but when I poked it, I pretty much marked it up and I thought, yep, can't use it. So I did a new one. Why not? It's my card, right? I have the materials and I have the skill and the know-how. So I redid it, took the adhesive off this panel, and this little adhesive remover, I've never had one. They're awesome. It takes off even the permanent adhesive. But here's where I wish that I had done this in the proper order, because when I went to line this up, if I had used my MISTI tool, it would have been easier and quicker, because once I pressed it down, if you look at the bottom, it's just a little off. And I looked at that and I was like, oh, I'm not starting over. It's good enough. Okay. The foam adhesive that I'm using on both the panel and these little trees is the thin foam adhesive from 3L. And I love it because it gives you just enough dimension, but not too much, you know? So that is the basic card. Now I'm just gonna come in with a little wink of Stella because I have overcome my fear of glitter and I realized that a little bit of glitter is kind of adorable. So I just covered all of my trees, tops and bottoms, with the wink of Stella. And that is the card for today. It's very simple, it's very cardstocky. You take small images and a handful of markers to make, well, let's say it, some cuteness. Thank you so much for watching today. Please subscribe to my channel and check out more videos in the center. To see more from me, visit my website today. Thanks everyone and have a great day.